We're reading the Ice Monster from Doody Sir.
From Doody Sir. And we found out that when he says Doody Sir, he's talking about the Furchester Hotel.
Yeah, that's been my telly.
Didn't know that.
Yes, it is.
Hello, my name is Donaldson Jr.
Hello.
And I am very, very, very big mouth.
Right.
And I am very long puppy.
It's just me.
But it's just me, the puppy. That's very long. It is.
Right.
Clap.
There we go.
Clap, clap, clap.
Thanks for all of that.
Now.
I don't know what part we're on because I can't remember, but I shall carry on reading The Ice Monster. We're on chapter 49.
Almost 50 million.
Almost 50.
And almost 100 points.
Right.
And North Line's 100.
If you remember, Elsie is still at the place where the Chelsea pensioners are, you know, the soldiers, and they have decided they need to take Wooly to the North Pole. Chapter 49, Audacious.
Hi.
Right, quiet now. Quiet now.
Yes, Mummy.
But how will we get to that there North Pole? Asked Titch. We would sail, soldier, announced the Admiral. This is a job for the Navy. But surely you'll need the army for ground support, sir, replied Titch. You may be right there, Private. This is a job for both divisions of Her Majesty's Armed Forces, a joint navy and, to a lesser extent, army mission. Hang on, interrupted Dotty. What is it, woman? Thundered the Admiral. Don't you need a boat? There were murmurs from the soldiers. She has a point, not as daft as she looks. I think we're missing a chess piece. Yes, agreed the Admiral. If you are sailing, it is always best to make sure that you have a boat. Otherwise, there is a strong chance that you will get decidedly wet. Now, where are we going to get a boat from? All the old men became lost in thought, but Elsie began imagining a theft so audacious it would make the Sticky Fingers gang seem like nuns. I know where there's a boat you can pinch, she announced. All eyes turned on her. There was some mocking mumbles from the old men. She's a mere child. The girl knows nothing about boats. This tea tastes of coffee. It is coffee. The Admiral limped over to the girl, his wooden leg thumping on the floor. Doof, doof, doof. Pray tell us, young lady, he began grandly, where is this boat you speak of? The girl consulted the compass to see which was east. She then found a window facing in that direction. It's out there, she said simply, pointing down towards the River Thames. The old man hurried over to the window as fast as his leg would carry him. All the old soldiers followed. They gathered behind the Admiral, eager to see where the girl was pointing. There, said the girl. You can steal the HMS Victory. Chapter 50, Relic. The magnificent old sailing ship was now a museum piece and, to celebrate the coming of the new century, had been moved from Portsmouth to be moored on the Thames. HMS Victory, announced the Admiral before hooting with laughter. Ho, ho, ho! Ha, ha, ha! Chimed in the men. Elsie was so annoyed she crossed her arms and gave them all a stern look. What's so funny? She demanded. My dear child, began the Admiral, HMS Victory was Lord Nelson's flagship in the Battle of Trafalgar all the way back in 1805. She's over 100 years old. She's a relic. So are you, snapped back the girl. But you can still sail, can't you? The Admiral's face soured, but there was a hint of grudging respect in his voice. Feisty one, aren't you? I've been told so, yes. Well, it would be quite an honour to follow in Lord Nelson's footsteps, mused the Admiral. Do you know what I mean? I think this young lady might be on to something. Elsie beamed with pride. With respect, sir, interrupted Titch, the military police may have been splattered all over with mammoth poop, but they will soon be on to us. We need to make a plan, and fast. Yes, announced the girl. Everyone, listen to me. The old soldiers were taken aback. Never in their long lives had they taken orders from a little girl, let alone an unwashed urchin like Elsie. Well, young lady, announced the Admiral, we would all dearly love to know your plan. There were murmurs from the men. Yes, we would. A girl with a plan, whatever next. Do you think we'll get a bath today? We don't have much time, Elsie raised her voice, so gentlemen, please listen. The Admiral sailed in. You heard what the young lady said, men. We don't have much time, so everyone needs to stop talking and listen. Yes, replied Elsie. That includes you, Admiral. There were snickers of laughter from the men. Nobody had ever spoken to the Admiral like that, and the man's face was glowing with the colour of the Chelsea pensioners' scarlet coats. Right, said the girl. We need 2 divisions. Their first men need to make their way along the Thames to where the HMS Victory is moored and steal her and sail down here to the hospital. Then we're just going to be a stone's throw away from the river. Their second division needs to raid the larder and gather as many provisions as possible. Admiral? Yes, sir. Miss, spluttered the old sailor. How long will it take us to sail to the North Pole? The Admiral limped over to his globe and traced a finger along the route. Down the Thames and onto the English Channel, North Sea, Norwegian Sea, Greenland Sea, Arctic Ocean, and boom, we're there. No more than 3 or 4 weeks. What if we need the loo? Asked Dotty. You go over the side like a sailor, madam, said the Admiral. It's the only way to go. He still plops out the window, remarked Titch. It's refreshing. Not for anyone standing below. 3 to 4 weeks, began Elsie. We need a lot of food. Not least this one, she added, stroking her prehistoric friend. Ooh, agreed Wooly. It's going to be nippy out there at the North Pole, said Dotty. Good point, Dotty. So we'll need all the warm clothes we can get hold of. The Admiral put up his hand. Yes, Admiral, said Elsie. Please can I be in charge of the ship, he said meekly. Yes, of course you can, Admiral. Thank you. Me, in charge of the HMS Victory. It is a dream come true. You pick 10 men and you bring back the Victory. Right, began the Admiral. This is a dangerous mission. It could even be fatal. I need 10 good men and true. All the old soldiers puffed out their chests and put on their most noble expressions, dying to be picked. Chapter 51. One lonely medal. The Admiral selected his crack team. 10 men threw their scarlet coats and black trousers over their pyjamas, and as their medals clinked together, they put on their tricorn hats. Elsie noticed that, unlike the other soldiers, Titch just had the one lonely medal. Why's Titch only got 1 medal? She asked Dotty. Oh, don't ask, she replied. It's a sore point. They all tease him for it. Ball in, roared the Admiral. The old soldiers organised themselves into a line. They may all have been battered by age and ill health, but they stood to attention with the same pride as the first day they signed up. Between them, they had served in the Crimean War against the Russians, battled their way across India and fought the Zulu warriors in Africa. Now they were ready for the adventure of their lives. The Admiral approached the mammoth and saluted her. We won't let you down, Mammoth, he said. Ooh, replied Woolly, lifting her trunk as if saluting back. Now, men, quick march. And with that, he led his men out of the ward. I need to stay here to look after Woolly, said Elsie. You, Titch, gather up all the food you can lay your hands on. There must be something for Woolly. There must be something Woolly didn't eat. Ooh, I'll do my best, Elsie. I'll do my best, Elsie, replied the private. Thank you, Titch. And Dotty, grab every last hat, glove and coat in here. Load 'em onto the ship, and then both of you come back to fetch us. Right you are, Titch replied. There were murmurs from the old soldiers. Not sure about Titch being put in charge. He's only a private. Man's only got one medal, and he got that for service. He's no hero. This egg is repeating on me. Dotty put a comforting hand on her beloved's shoulder. Don't take any notice. I'll show you, boys, said Titch. Now come on and follow me. With that, he led his comrades and Dotty across the ward and left Elsie alone with her woolly friend. Lock this door, ordered Titch as he reached it. Good thought, replied the girl. I'll knock twice, and then you know it's safe to open it. Understood. Two fast knocks or two slow knocks, said Dotty. It doesn't matter, my love, snapped the soldier. Just 2 knocks. Knock, knock. I'll meet you back here as soon as we're ready to set sail. Elsie rushed over to the door and locked it behind them. Clip, clip.
I'm ready to go to set sail.
Elsie rushed over to the door and locked it behind them, and then she crossed to the ward to join Woolly. The girl put her arms around her. Don't worry, Woolly, she said. We're going to get you home. Ooh. Woolly nodded her head. Then the animal yawned and Elsie did too. Woolly folded down onto her knees and rolled over onto her side before letting out a long, slow sigh. Elsie lay down next to her friend, her back nestling up against the animal's belly. The mammoth curled her trunk around the girl and held her tight. This was a world away from the cold tin bath Elsie normally slept in. Together, they closed their eyes. Good night, Woolly. The pair breathed in and out in time with each other, and soon they had both fallen asleep. Little did they know that someone was peering through at them through the window. Chapter 52, Rampage. Outside the window to the ward, the top of a ladder had appeared. At the top of the ladder was a pair of beady eyes. A long nose, a tiny moustache had appeared. It was Commissioner Barker. He spied the pair sleeping and signalled to the officers to keep quiet. What? Called up one of them loudly from the ground. A finger on the lips means be quiet, he hissed back. Righty-o, the constable on the ground shouted up. Shush! Got it! As the snow swirled about them, Commissioner Barker slid down the ladder, his feet landing with a crunch in the snow. Grumble. This time, we're not going to let them get away. Thud, thud. The noise woke up Elsie and Woolly with a start. The girl was sure she'd heard 2 knocks, but they were much louder than she'd anticipated. She wanted to call out for Dotty, but her throat tightened in fear, and she couldn't make a sound. Thud! Another knock. Something wasn't right. It was very wrong. Elsie moved backwards and felt Woolly wrap her trunk protectively round her. She whimpered. Thud! This time the door buckled. Thud! Shards of wood went flying. Boom! The doors smashed off their hinges and fell to the floor. Doof, doof. Framed in the doorway was Commissioner Barker, flanked by dozens of his men holding a battering ram. Are you gonna come quietly? He bellowed. Roared the mammoth. The sound gave Elsie strength. No, we're gonna come really noisily. And with that, she clambered onto the animal's back and gave her a whack on the side. "Charge!" shouted Elsie. Woolly knew exactly what to do. She galloped towards the men. "Hold the line!" ordered Commissioner Barker. The policemen all looked at one another nervously as they linked arms. "Hold the line!" The policemen gripped one another tight. "Hold the line!" Barker was the first to disobey his own order. He broke away from his men and leapt out of the way. His men followed suit, leaving Woolly and Elsie free to escape down the corridor. "Cowards!" shouted Barker. "Fools!" Of course, the policemen were the exact opposite of fools, sensibly having no desire to be trampled to death by a prehistoric creature.
Yeah.
Sorry, dry throat. Seeing the flight of the descending stairs ahead, the mammoth came to an abrupt halt. "Whoa!" cried Elsie, and the force of the sudden stop hurled her through the air. Whiz! She landed on her bottom with a thud at the top step, before sliding down the remaining steps at speed. Woolly looked on with interest. Maybe this was the best way to go down the stairs. She sat on her bottom and slid down too. Boink, 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 boink. Woo, 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 woo. There was much bigger bonks. After all, the mammoth had an infinitely larger bottom. But going by the size of... Oh, I've lost my thing. But going by the little yelps she let out as her bottom hit each step, she seemed to enjoy it. Soon the pair were lying crumpled in a heap at the bottom of the stairs. Seeing the policeman arriving at the top, Elsie pulled Woolly along by her trunk. "Woo!" screamed the animal. Spotting an open doorway, they raced in. It was a huge, grand dining room with chandeliers dangling from the ceiling and wooden panels on the floor. Table upon table was laid out neatly for breakfast. Table upon table was upturned as the mammoth charged through the room. Ooh, crash, bang, wallop! A gaggle of cooks dashed out from the kitchen door to see what all the rumpus was about. "What is the meaning of this?" demanded one. As soon as they saw it was a mammoth rampaging through the dining hall, they dashed back into the kitchen. "Sorry to disturb you, please carry on." The policeman arrived at the doors. "That monster is on the property of Her Majesty the Queen," shouted Barker. "We have our orders to return it, alive or preferably dead." Immediately Elsie leapt onto her friend's back so they couldn't shoot and raced towards the set of tall doors at the far end of the room.
I found this.
Sorry.
Well, I found this.
Yeah, I know, but we're still doing this.
Well, we're not still doing this.
Shh.
We're not still
Immediately Elsie leapt onto her friend's back so they couldn't shoot and raced towards the set of tall doors at the far end of the room. However, those doors swung open to reveal Matron and a rather pooey-looking group of military policemen holding rifles. "We have you trapped," bawled Matron. "Now, give yourselves up." "Never!" shouted the girl. The military policemen lifted their rifles. The animal reared up on hind legs and roared a huge roar. Elsie's head clinked against the bottom of a chandelier. Thinking fast, she grabbed hold of it and swung backwards before launching herself at the doorway. She flew through the air and hit Matron and the military policeman like a bowling ball, striking some skittles and sending them flying. Ah! They rolled out of the way as the mammoth thundered past. Elsie sprang to her feet and leapt past onto Woolly as she escaped through the door.
Oh, that was very small. Even though I didn't get any of it.
A bobber!
There we go. Can you see that?
Yeah, they can
That's the end of that chapter and the end of this part. Look forward to seeing you next time when we will be on chapter 53. Thanks very much.
And then we'll see this one, won't we?
What? This one? What?
This page.
Oh yeah, the next page.
This,
Then you can see that one. All right.
Because that one is... He's going to because he's going to shrink into a baby one.
Okay.
Bye.
Are you saying bye?
Bye bye, babies.
Right, bye.
Bye.